Right, we've got Jules and Jordan and the Rainbow Panel making their first appearance at the end of a term. Kia ora and welcome.
Kia ora.
Ngā mihi, Jordan. Kia ora koutou katoa.
Tēnā koe te rangatira.
Tēnā koe te rangatira. Welcome, and you, the floor is yours. We're open in whatever way you deem appropriate. Kia ora.
Ute te rito te hara keke kei he te ko ma koe e ko ki mai ki he aha te mea rui o te ao maku e ki atu he tangata e tihei muri ora.
Kia ora,
There was a proverb, probably one of the most famous proverbs of my ancestors. What is the greatest treasure in this world? I will tell you, it is people, it is people, it is people. Probably less known is the beginning of that proverb, which is Hute te rito te harakeke, which symbolises how the centre of the harakeke plant is where our bowerbird gets its nourishment from, meaning that the centre of the community is where our people who are our treasure get our nourishment from. And I think that's a really powerful message for us today, to remember that all people are treasure. So we're here to talk to you about how our little shoot in the middle of this Auckland Council has begun to sprout because of the manakitanga that you have shown to our rainbow communities. And so we're here to share to you what we have done in regards to try to create some nourishment for a community, or the bowerbirds that are often left flying around looking for a plant that will nourish them. And I'm here joined with Jules. We're the two J's from somewhere over the rainbow. And we have joining us our matriarch, Lex, who will probably also, Alexia will also jump in and share some thoughts as well. For those who don't know, they usually put me first to speak, and I'm not a very good speaker or singer. And I usually leave all the facts to Jules. So I'm going to hand it over to her. Kia ora.
Thanks, Jordan. Kia ora koutou. I'm going to begin by sharing a few insights into our communities and some of the challenges we face. And then Jordan, who is a great speaker, will share highlights from our very first year on the Rainbow Advisory Panel. But firstly, I really want to acknowledge you in particular, His Worship the Mayor Len Brown and Deputy Mayor Penny Hulse, councillors, especially Kathy Casey, our liaison, and the really wonderful staff for having the vision to create the Rainbow Communities Advisory Panel. Leading the way in Aotearoa with the first ever Rainbow Panel, so congratulations. And we have so appreciated your continued leadership and support through our very first year. And it's not surprising that New Zealand's largest city attracts the largest rainbow population. We gather here to create our communities, and we gather here to create our families. I can vividly recall moving to Auckland 13 years ago from Rotorua, and I am having that moment of, wow, I've found my place and I've found my people. The health and well-being of New Zealand secondary school students 2012 research shows that 8.1% of our young people are both and same or both sex attracted, and 1.2 identify as transgender. But despite being about 10% of the population, there are limited national strategies and little funding for our communities. We are often invisible. There's little data captured about our communities, and we are often reliant on overseas statistics. For this presentation, we have had to use stats from Australia and the United States. We don't know about levels of harassment and abuse towards our communities in New Zealand, and not because it doesn't happen, but because we haven't captured it. In Australia, between 1/3 and 1/2 of rainbow communities report harassment and abuse because of their sexual and gender identities, and these experiences were an indicator of poorer mental health. Unsurprisingly, those people who experience one or more incidents of harassment or abuse in the past 12 months have much higher levels of psychological distress. 85% of young gay, lesbian, bisexual and transgender people are bullied in schools in the States. And 26% of those young people who came out to family became disowned and homeless. Discrimination, harassment and abuse leads to social isolation and alienation, which in turn leads to reduced health and well-being amongst rainbow people. And I want to emphasise these are recent statistics. It's a bleak picture, but we've been so proud to work with Auckland Council and to work strategically to improve engagement in the health, safety and well-being of our rainbow communities. And we hope you are proud of it too.
Kia ora, Jules. The panel that we work with decided to become part of this movement because we are passionate about our community. But we also have lived through those stats that she's talking about. And some of the good movements that we've made in the short time that we've been here, and just a reminder, we've only been here for less than a year. We did create the Rainbow Communities Engagement Guidelines, which helps Auckland Council know how to engage our community and know who our community are and where our community are. Some of the other things that we've done is we had a presence at the LYC Big Gay Out, where we surveyed over 400 Aucklanders from the rainbow communities, which discussed many of those issues that Jules raised earlier. We've also worked alongside Council to create all-gendered signage for accessible toilets to ensure we have safe spaces for our transgender community in staff buildings in Auckland. We've also worked alongside the Council to create one of the 30th anniversary for the homosexual law reform, for the passing of that bill, which sent a significant message to our community around inclusiveness in the city.
Wonderful.
Kia ora, Jordan.
Kia ora tātou. Our community is your community. Our rainbow is your rainbow. And while we celebrate who we are at the behest of Auckland Council, it's the most empowering thing that's happened to me in my 71 years on this planet. I now feel as if I have a voice. I'm fully aware that that accepting a Rainbow Advisory Panel to advise Auckland Council has been quite a journey for some of you. That's how it is for all of us. We're all on a journey together, and I can't speak highly enough for the work that the officers have done, enabling us to have this voice within our alphabet soup, our LGBTQI and all the rest of the different identities that we cover. There are different levels of privilege, and the level of privilege for transgender women of colour is right at the bottom of the heap. So to be able to have a voice to council, and probably the most important thing, to feel as if we're being listened to, is really, really important for the 10% of the population who identify as we do, and the 1% of the population who identify as I do. I think we've achieved a lot during our 8 or 9 months of existence, but we couldn't have done that without you, and we couldn't have done it without the officers, and we certainly couldn't have done it without Councillor Casey and Mayor Brown. And I recall presenting to the council, Mayor Brown, when you resolved the issue and enabled this to happen. I thank you. You will have a place in my heart forever for that. So thank you. Kia ora koutou. Yeah, thank you.
Kia ora, Lexi.
Yeah, kia ora koutou. They asked me to close, but I think my matriarch just did that with the most amazing words, and I think that's really important for us to acknowledge that you gave us a space to come together and create that whānau to support our people. And I'd like to mihi to my kuia over there for being a voice for our people. So ngā mihi koutou.
Kia ora.
Councillor Cathy, Liaison Councillor, is there anything you'd like to add or comment on? Right, any other questions or comments to our Rainbow panel? Respectful acknowledgement. Kia ora koutou katoa. Thank you very much. Last but not least, the representative of the youth of